Hello, my name is Stephanie, and I'm here to support you through this difficult time. Grief is deeply personal experience, and there's no right or wrong answer or way to feel or process it. In our session, my role is to provide a safe, compassionate space where you can share your story and feelings at your own pace. We will work together to explore your loss, and find ways to cope and heal that feel right for you. There's no pressure to share more than you're comfortable with. Whenever you're ready, I invite you to tell me about your loved one or what has been most challenging for you lately. I do have a series of questions I'd like to ask you, and the first one is, when you hear the word grief, what comes to mind?
The loss of a loved one.
Loss of a loved one. That's good. Anyone else like to share?
When I hear the word grief, immediately what I think of is how people we have lost and all the holidays they have missed, but I know they're still with us in our hearts.
That is very, very true and touching, heartfelt. Can you share an experience where you supported someone who was grieving, and what did you learn from that?
Um, I'm sorry. When my sister lost her baby, um, and I learned that grief comes in different stages, and you only can support someone. You can't really speed up their process for grieving.
It's very true. It's very good to be there for someone.
Okay. An experience I had when I helped someone who was grieving was when my papa passed. I was helping my mom by just sitting there and listening to the stories she would tell about my papa. He was a great person and always helped people out no matter what, even if it left him penniless.
It's very heartfelt too. Stories are a very good way to keep people's memories alive. And how do you think people's experience with grief differ from one another?
And some people can have different reactions with grief. Some people can laugh their way through it, or some people just want to be alone and not talk to anybody. It just depends on who's going through it, I guess.
It's a very good
Okay,
answer.
so what I put for that was how people experience with grief differ is that some people write their feelings in a journal and some people take up therapy.
That's a very good answer as well. So, in your opinion, what are some healthy ways people can cope with grief?
Um, Sharing your feelings, going to therapy, talking with your loved ones, or like she said, writing things down.
In my opinion, healthy ways to cope is to talk about memories and never let them be forgotten. And also, another healthy way to cope is by writing your feelings down in a journal.
And how do you feel our society views or talks about grief?
I don't think there's, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of understanding around it, because how can you understand something like that? But from my experience, I've had pretty good, like with health professionals. They're pretty helpful.
Mm, I put how I feel that our society views grief as like how flowers wilt away. That, hold on, they see someone that has passed and show up to their loved ones, but the people who are closer to whoever's passed are trying to cope, and the other people, they're just kind of moving on with their lives while we're trying to cope with whoever we've lost.
So you,
For that.
you feel like society don't view grief as much as they would another topic is more or less what you're saying.
Yeah, kind of like where they're not close with the person. Yeah, they'll grieve and mourn them, but they won't feel it as severely as someone who is closer to that person.
Okay. And what role do friends and family play during someone's grieving process?
I think a very important role. I don't think you can Well, I'm sure you could get through things yourself, but having family and friends would be a big help.
I'm sorry about the dog in the background. Anyways, I just hope that they play a supporting role trying to get you through all of your emotions while you guys are a hard time.
It's true. Family is very important, and friends. Are there any cultural or religious traditions you're aware of that help people process grief?
Praying, going to church.
I don't really know if it's a tradition or a cultural thing, but you know when people light lanterns and they put them up in the sky to celebrate their lost loved ones. I don't know if that's a cultural thing or not.
Like a memorabilia thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What are some ways people can remember or honor loved ones they have lost?
Talk about them, tell stories, look at pictures. Just share their memory with other people.
I put by lighting candles, sending flowers, and like how Odd done were the balloons for Brantley's birthday. Send them up into the sky and sit there, listen to music.
Yes, you can do all those things to honor your loved ones. And how do you personally react when you see someone else grieving? Is it easy or hard for you to know what to say or do?
For me, it's hard, but I'll sit there and listen and be a shoulder to cry on if they need me.
How I react to that is by drawing people stuff that their loved ones like, their favorite things. And it is hard for me because I can't take anything seriously. But I try to be a comforting person and just listen to what they have to say.
It's always very helpful. Just having an ear to listen sometimes is the best kind of therapy. Can grief come from situations other than the loss of a loved one? If so, what are some examples?
I believe it can, because I think grief can come in like different, I guess, levels. Like I don't know, I can't explain that, but I think somebody moving away, you could grieve over that. Losing a job, I believe you could grieve over that. It just depends on the person, I guess.
I put that you can grieve from other things besides losing someone, but it's still not as sad, but it's like losing a job or losing a friendship that you had for years and you haven't talked to that friend in a very long time.
That's very true. You can grieve other things. And a job sometimes is, something you grieve a lot because you get used to that job and that's your daily routine and all of a sudden it changes. So, yeah, that's a very good answer. And how can workplaces and school better support people who are grieving?
I'm being more empathetic. Just because it's not physical pain don't mean there isn't any pain. And just, being more empathetic.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that because schools need to better support people who are struggling with school in general, but also if someone passes, it's not an excuse to give them a free pass, but at the same time, be more empathetic towards that person. And I don't feel like schools and jobs do that.
So you feel like that they could do better with the grieving process in both those placements?
Yes,
absolutely.
And what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck in their grief?
Don't try to do it alone. Talk to somebody, whether that be a therapist or a friend or even a stranger. Just don't hold it in.
What I put for that was my advice to anyone that was struck with grief was to take it day by day and do things they enjoy to do, like how Odd does those candles and like how I make my jewelry and drawings. Just take that day by day and do hobbies that you like to do to get your mind off things.
Those were all very good answers. So is there anything else that you would like to talk about today?
No.
No, that'd be all.
Well, thank you both for joining the session. I do hope you have this wonderful day, and my office is always open. Sorry.